At my wedding, my mother-in-law stood up and demanded my entire $6,000 salary and every bonus. At my wedding, my mother-in-law stood up and demanded my entire $6,000 salary and every bonus. She didn't even wobble when she said it. She smoothed her pearl necklace, smiled at the guests, and spoke like she was announcing dessert. Family income should be centralized, she added, voice sweet, eyes locked on me. Chairs scraped. Someone coughed. My aunt froze mid-sip. The band stopped playing without being asked. I felt 100 eyes on my back, waiting for me to flinch. My husband laughed softly, the way people do when they think something is a joke that isn't meant for them. Mom, he said, not reaching for me. She lifted a hand to silence him. This is between the women, she said, and the word women landed like a slap. I stood there in lace and satin, bouquet heavy in my hands, calm enough that my pulse felt distant. You'll transfer it monthly, she continued. We'll manage it responsibly. You'll get an allowance. She named a number smaller than my phone bill. A bridesmaid whispered my name. I didn't look at her. I nodded once. Not yes, not no. Just enough to keep the room breathing. Then I reached into the clutch I'd been carrying all day and felt the corner of the envelope. Thick. Cardstock. I'd tucked it there that morning, after checking my phone one last time. I stepped closer to the microphone and thanked everyone for coming. My voice didn't shake. My mother-in-law smiled wider, mistaking restraint for surrender. The recognition came fast and quiet. Her smile stalled when she noticed the envelope. She leaned toward me, eyes sharp now. What's that? I said nothing. I turned slightly, just enough for the front row to see the letterhead peeking out. My name printed clean and bold. Her husband's name underneath it. A few people shifted. Someone in the back raised their phone. She reached for my wrist. I took a step back. The room leaned with me. You don't need to do this, my husband murmured, finally touching my elbow. I met his eyes. He looked scared. Not for me, for the room. I opened the envelope and slid one page free. I didn't read it aloud. I didn't have to. The color drained from her face when she recognized the stamp. She swallowed. This is private, she said, louder than necessary. Her husband stood up too quickly and knocked his chair over. The sound cracked through the silence. A cousin laughed, then stopped when no one else did. I folded the page once and placed it back inside. Then I took my phone from my pocket and tapped the screen. One tap. A message sent. The band's manager glanced at me. The coordinator checked her clipboard, confused. My mother-in-law grabbed the microphone, but it squealed and died in her hand. What did you do? She hissed. I smiled at her the way she'd smiled at me. I centralized something, I said. Phones began to buzz. A bridesmaid gasped. Someone said my father-in-law's name like a question. He sank back into his chair, hands shaking, as if the floor had dropped a few inches. My husband tried to speak. I lifted a finger. He stopped. I turned to the guests and thanked them again, genuinely this time. I set my bouquet on the table beside the cake and walked down the aisle alone. Behind me, voices overlapped. A call went unanswered. Another rang again and again. Outside, the doors slammed open. My mother-in-law stood frozen on the threshold, perfect hair undone by nothing but panic. Inside, reputations were already moving without her. I didn't turn back. I stepped into the night, dress whispering, phone buzzing harder with every step, and let the fallout start without